Okay, so this is the my process on how I optimize the snowshoe hare model. So I have ZBrush opened up here, and then I'm going to go into the dynamic sphere project through the lightbox. Symmetry mode is on. I'm going to toggle that off by pressing X. I'm going to go to the side here, click import, navigate to where the OBJ model is, should be in the construction, BD, snowshoe hare 803, there's the model. Awesome. I'm gonna open that up. And first thing I notice is that it's not oriented properly. How we want to orient it is actually, we want it to be facing down towards the ground. And if we rotate it like this, it should be facing us, like how it would normally be oriented. Funny thing, but we can also fix that. And that is something we can also adjust in Sketchfab, but it's just a little bit easier to do it here. So I'm going to go to my rotate tool. I'm going to rotate this so it's somewhat straight like that. I'm going to reset my orientation by holding Alt and clicking that reset orientation. And I'm just going to go and make sure that this is straight on all the angles that it needs to be. Awesome. And I don't have to worry about position because it will actually automatically center it. Okay. That seems to be great. Now see, it's facing down towards the floor and I'm looking at the bottom, but this is actually the correct orientation. Now I'm going to go back to the draw tool and I'm going to duplicate this. So I have an original, untake that. And first thing is that there's some floating artifacts here, and I don't notice any other holes that we need to fill up. I think this hole is actually already there, so it's supposed to be there. So for this, I'm actually going to auto group, and you can find auto groups here, polygroup, auto groups, and it assigns a group to everywhere else. That are just like on its own. And then I'm going to hold Control Shift and left click this. So it isolates only this group, which disappears all the stray floating artifacts. And then I'm going to hit delete hidden. Delete hidden, of course, is in geometry, modify, topology, delete hidden. So that's all deleted. I'm going to go back to my subtool, and then I'm going to go to Z plugin, destination master. I'm going to keep UVs, remember, make sure this is toggled on, very important, and then I'm going to pre-process current. Now, this is going to take a little bit, depending on your model and how large it is, it might take some time, but it should be fairly quick. And as soon as that's done, you can see it's loading up here, and we're going to continue. At this stage already, we are halfway there, a little bit more halfway there. So I finished pre-processing. I'm going to hover over on my model. Right now, it's about 1.3 million. I think we can get it down to about 17% of decimation. I'm going to decimate currents. And what that's going to do, I'm going to hover over my model again, it's 230,000, which is totally fine. Ideally, you want to aim for a little bit less than that. So I'm going to go down to 15 actually and decimate currents. And yeah, that's a little bit over 200,000. It's totally fine. So that's looking good. And I can see that there's not too much model detail that's lost. So that's great. And we lost our texture. So what we're going to do is actually import our original texture, which is over here. And we're going to load it in, and we're just going to check the details. And when I put it in, I'm going to flip V, and then I'm going to load it in and actually apply it to the model. And I can do that by going in here, same thing, texture map, and I just selected this. Now I can look at it, and it looks great. Everything is looking great. Now I just need to export it. So I'm going to go here to export, and it says, and I'm going to go to my optimization output folder. Now I previously already did an example of this, and you'll see it here, but for this, recording, I'll just name it as new model. But you would want to follow this naming convention here, which is the label, optimized model, and then the version number. I'm going to hit save, and it's going to export that. So once it's done exporting, we can navigate to that folder, optimization output, the snowshoe Hare. Now there it is, my new model. And one thing I noticed that ZBrush exported a .bmp. We're going to delete that because we don't actually need it. And as well as we're going to change these uppercase LBJ to a lowercase. And if you haven't already, this is actually the original texture that I moved from the reconstruction output. And actually it's not moving, but I copied and pasted. So I just Control-C. And then going back to my optimization output folder, Control-V. And that's where my texture is. So I'm going to copy this name because actually we're going to have to open my .mtl file, open with Notepad. And here is what it's opened up. And we want to replace this .bmp name to the .png. I'm going to overwrite that by file, save. Okay. And that's about it. And then what you do is you upload all 3 files to the server or to Sketchfab as a zip. And that's it. And that's how optimizing the snowshoe Hare works.